Welcome back to the Code Yellow podcast. We're excited to restart the conversation where we're talking about relationships from the lens of scripture and good old common sense. And we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so please like, share, and subscribe if you like what we bring. Zob, what you got for us?
All right. So I'm going to ask everyone a question. So Devin, this is your question.
Oh boy.
Dum,
Yeah,
dum,
individual questions.
dum.
Oh, this is okay.
Would you rather be the funniest or smartest person in the room?
I think I'd pick the smartest. Because, you can be the funniest, but then if you're not, assuming average smartness.
Super smart.
I love
Super
that
smart.
shit.
Super smart.
You ask the questions I need answers.
Because
No, if I chose the funniest and with average smartness, or smartest with average funniness,
Yeah,
or
definitely.
not zero.
Not zero.
Oh,
Not
okay,
zero.
that's yeah.
That's a different question.
yeah.
Okay, then zero. Then zero.
No.
Right, I don't.
Zero?
No,
Dang,
absolutely.
smartest.
Smartest.
Yeah.
Why?
Because at the end of the day, I might be happier as the funniest, but knowing myself today, if I was a bystander looking outside, I might not be satisfied just being the funniest, and people are laughing at me, and that's what's making me the funniest.
That's not what you're doing if you're the funniest in the room.
Like I'm funniest with nothing. No, I don't think I could bear that. Just thinking about it. But the smartest, I know that the smartest guy can often be the most annoying to be around, which might not bode well for what I would want my life to look like.
Also unapproachable. Right?
Also unapproachable.
Yeah.
But if I'm smart enough, I can be like, this is not working. I can smart my way through social situations and figure it out.
Okay.
See, I was thinking you can fund your way through situations.
But listen, the charisma, being funny, ha ha ha.
But sometimes with being the funniest, your awareness isn't where it needs to be. So you
Yes.
just joke.
Right.
And people are like, okay, bro. Like,
Right.
It was funny 5 minutes ago.
Like,
Right.
we at the
But
funeral.
then that would make me not the funniest person in the room. Like I'd have to be funny. I'd have to be able to read the room to be truly
Right,
funny,
right.
or just be that funny to be the funniest guy.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
a lost
true,
art, being able
Yeah.
to read the room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Adonis, this is for you. I know the Olympics just passed not too long ago.
Okay.
And so what sport would you compete in if you were in the Olympics?
100 meter. Let's go. I got to sprint. And I need to win. I
Against
need to
no
win.
allows?
I need to win.
Okay.
Because if I'm competing in that, I'm winning.
Okay.
Now, what event do I think I can compete in? That's a different discussion. But which would I want to? Because there's so much like gravitas associated with that event. Like everybody is watching track. Everyone is watching the 100-meter dash. I don't feel like people are watching powerlifting or, the... right. The equestrian sport. Like, I don't think people are doing that. Like, I would love to ride horses, but nobody's going to watch that.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, 100%. Put me in the 100-meter. I'm running 9 something.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get it. Jazz, this is for you.
Okay.
Because I know my wife. I'm going to
Thank
give her
you.
one that she can answer.
Thank you.
If you had to teach a class on one thing, what would you teach?
I don't get any options. Okay, fine.
One thing.
I would teach a class on one thing. You mentioned reading the room is a lost art. That we could use that one, but I'll pick line dancing.
Ooh.
Can you teach me the Tamia? Because like
I actually can.
left, right. Once we start
I can
stepping,
teach you.
I lose count.
Yeah, she taught me. So
Then I'm out.
you'll be good. You're in good hands.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna hold you to it
No, really.
because I be wanting to get out there.
Okay,
As
I
soon
got
as
you.
we rotate,
All right. And so I don't leave myself out, right?
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean?
No.
So I'll answer my own question.
Jasmine, pick the question.
yeah, that's it.
We're around here.
Okay. If you could eliminate one thing from your daily routine,
Mercy God.
what would it be and why?
Ooh, okay. If I can eliminate one day from my daily
Please
routine.
don't say brushing your teeth.
Right. No. Need to brush my teeth. I can't be offending the saints.
Mercy God.
No, can't do that. A daily routine that I have is snacking. Like that is like I get home, Jasmine be like, she always tells me like, don't eat out the bag, put it in a
Portion
in
it
a
out.
portion it out, and I stroke.
Who does that?
Right.
I
It's
do.
taking away our joy.
Right.
In the bag.
Okay, that's your portion. Your one hand grab.
Just say you don't want the snacks to run out. guys.
Listen. So that's what I'll take away, snacking, because I know that I have fitness goals and weight loss goals, so I need to snack less, a lot less. So that's what I would take away.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. So, Zal, would you like to introduce our guest?
Of
today?
course. All right, so we have an not extinguished.
You never know what this is going to go with.
Right. That's how excited I am. I can't even get my words right. And so we have my brother. His name is Adonis Mitchell, but he goes by AD. He's a speaker, a coach. He's a father, a husband, a man of God. He's Mr. Houston. I'm just saying. So we are just so blessed to have Mr. Houston on our podcast today. Y'all welcome him. Welcome him.
Yes.
Yes.
And we got to talk with him a little bit. He's a food and travel extraordinaire.
Yes, sir.
His food list is expansive. He showed us, like, he scrolled like 5 times to get to the bottom. It's crazy.
I know where to go when it's
You
time
can purchase
to
a
eat.
virtual copy of this list for $5.
Yeah. 5. Don't block our blessing. 500. $1 per item on the list.
There'll be a link in the code Yellow Podcast.
Right.
Yep.
You have to like, share, and subscribe if you want it
There
for
we
free.
go. There we
Via
go.
I
drawing.
like that. There you go.
Anyway, we've been having a great time kind of shooting, and just talking, right? But we're gonna jump straight into our topic. We are talking fear.
Dun, dun, dun.
So fear is a huge topic, so many corners to it. But let's just start. What fears inhibit us on a daily basis, like just at a baseline?
For me, I have to give a little context. My father and I did not have a great relationship. And being a father now, I would say that one of the fears or the things that constantly is playing in the back of my head is to maintain a relationship with my 2 sons. Especially now, my oldest, I'm his best friend. He is excited to see me when I get home from work. He wants to play, do all those things. And I know at a certain point in time, that's going to shift. It's going to change. He's going to hit puberty. He's going to want his own new friends, all of those things. But I want to create an environment with my wife to where our children not only want to come back home for holidays, things like that, but we are a resource that they can lean on when it comes to advice, decision-making skills, like, hey, Dad, this is going on. I want to have that type of relationship because I didn't necessarily have that with my father for the majority of my adult life. When I was in high school, middle school, things like that, for sure. But as I became more of an adult, our relationship kind of fractured. So that's something that is constantly playing in my mind. So being present, making sure that I can be a soft father, but also a disciplinarian when I need to be, being the person that can, be vocal about the emotions or the things that my son is feeling. If he doesn't want to do something, if he wants to do something, making an effort to get that thing done. So that's something that plays a role, like, consistently. Like, should I take off this day? Should I make sure that I'm back home just to be here with my son? Because my wife works from home, and she recants all the times that he comes in, where's Dad? So he's at that stage now, and it's like, oh my God, do I need to find a remote job now so that I can just, make sure that relationship is maintained? But that is something that is constantly in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm. So when I think about fear, I think about unbelief. I had a friend, and I saw an Instagram video, and it always reminds me of what my friend said. But he said everything that you're struggling with, it's because it's like a level of unbelief, not believing that God can, that God will come through in that way. So the fears that I have is a little bit of unbelief, and that's something that I'm like actively working through on a daily basis. So that's where my fear, like the unbelief that even though God, my song is, if he did it before, he can do it again. Hey, that's my song, right? But how quickly do I forget? Like, oh, God came through last year, I mean, I forget about stuff a lot of times, and I think it's just been to my detriment. So the things that I'm fearful about, it's like, oh, you don't believe that God can actually carry you through. So that's kind of like where my fear is based
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, mine is similar to that as well. I have like a lot of really great ideas, and I get really excited about them. And these are things that could, I guess you could say, like entrepreneurial type ideas, creative ideas. And a lot of times, like at the tail end of my excitement and the bubbling of the idea tends to be, what if I start this and I don't want to do it anymore? That's like, and it's like, okay, what if that is the case, but still do it? And so that's one of the fears that often gets in the way of me just like doing the thing. Still trying to unpack like, why is that even the thought? But it's so strong that it gets in the way of me even doing it. Because it's like, well, what if you do it and you love it and you keep doing it? It's like you haven't done it yet. So in order to see how it evolves, so just making space for that. So for me, my fears tend to show up as what ifs.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, but with a twist. So like my fear usually sits in not getting things right or getting things wrong. You know, like so that makes me say, okay, I have an idea, right? Now I'm like, okay, this would be a really good idea, but then there's this. Okay, what if this? All right, I'm gonna go through all the lists and being like, okay, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this. But now I've included so many details on this massive thing that now I'm overwhelmed. And then it might end up not happening, or I'll try and it's not sustainable and I'll fall off, right? So I guess another side to that is, do I have what it takes? The fear is, do I have what it takes to make this thing a reality, you know, or to sustain it,
Right.
right? So how do we, what's the first, what do we do? What do we do with that, you know?
So for me, I talk to my wife.
True.
I'm a communicator. Like I like to talk about things. I like to give things a voice, as Auntie Iana will always say. And in those moments where I am fearful of something, I like to lean on my most trusted companion, which would be her. She's my best friend, and she's the one person I know I can bring something to that's not going to judge my thought process or how I got to that conclusion. And being able to express that to her, not only does she offer reassurance, but she is able to clear up a lot of the convoluted thought that may come with that. So to your point, like if I have this idea or this thought that comes up, I'll add on things as well. Well, what about this? What about this? It's like, well, no, don't worry about all that. Like, let's
Make the main thing the main thing.
Correct. And what's funny is I do the same thing for her because she is a serial planner and she has so many different lists. And like we will go to her mom's house and she's like, okay, I need a list for what we need to take. Like we're just going to your mom's. Like, so I think that's the step for me, is to talk through it, even if it's just, talking to myself, talking to God, having a way to voice what that fear is. And then when I'm able to voice it, there are typically ways that either the Holy Spirit will reveal to me, like, this is how you can resolve that. Or to Zah's point, hey, remember, I've done this before with someone else for you specifically. And who's to say that I wouldn't do it again?
Mm-hmm. Question for you. How long have you and your wife been married?
7 years this year, April 14th. We've been locked in.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So I love that you're able to use her as a sounding board to kind of like center, like ground yourself in what you got going on. Was that something you found in her before you guys got married?
100%. We were best friends since high school. We weren't high school sweethearts. Just clear that up. We were best friends since high school. We met when I was a junior. She was a sophomore. So like 2004-ish. And we have been in contact, communication, friend since then. I know about her relationship. She knows about my relationship. She was there when my mother had cancer. I was there when her mother had cancer. Like that's my rider. Like, for real.
So, if I may intrude,
come on.
When did best friend become boo thing? How? The best friend.
Was there fear involved? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to mess it up. You know, we've been cool for so long.
Right.
There was definitely fear.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely. So to answer your question, that transition happened after coming out of a pretty lengthy relationship. Didn't go how we thought it was going to go. We initially had discussed, weddings, plans, all that stuff, but that didn't happen. So coming out of that, I was like, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna go date. That
Be
didn't-
outside. You was trying to be outside.
I was outside, but that totally different outside.
Right, not
Rest of God.
2024
Totally
outside.
different outside.
Yeah.
I was, it was totally different. So she had been on a relationship for an extended period of time, and we just started doing stuff together. We just started traveling. We'd go to Austin. We went on cruise. Like, we would just do things to be in each other's space. And because of the consistency with that, it was like, this is so easy. This is natural. Why not? So I asked. She said no very quickly. And it was a hard year. But then I asked again, and she said yes. And
What was the time distance between?
a year.
Oh,
Like an exact like January, December type thing.
So because we were both single, we would always go to Gringo's for Valentine's Day because they had a fire Valentine's Day little meal.
shout out to Gringos.
It was not gluten free, so so we would always do that. And I asked her in the parking lot the first time. She said no. I think we should be friends. I said okay, cool, no problem. Mustered up all this courage to ask, and you said no, but that's cool. And
like a spirit to the heart type deal.
that
That rejection.
What?
Have you healed yet?
Working through
She's
it.
still making up for it 7 years later.
Right. But no, a year to the date, literally. I was like, okay. I worked up enough courage. I was like, I'm gonna ask her again. If she say no, that's it. I ain't dating. I ain't doing nothing. But I was real slick with it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask you, but I don't want you to answer right now. Don't answer right now. I need you to
Think about it.
mull
Pray
it
about
over.
it. Right.
Like, go into your prayer closet. Like, submit this to the Lord in
Right.
prayer. And I had gotten so busy with church, with my mother's care and treatment. Like, there was a lot going on in my space, which is also why I wanted her to consider what that would look like joining in a relationship. And we were at Bible study one night. As Bible study was coming to a conclusion, she was like, "Hey, you want to talk about what we supposed to talk about?" I was like, "What are we supposed to talk about?"
You don't forgot. Yeah.
I gotta go
Requested.
home. I gotta get my little brothers ready for school. Like, what we got
Like,
going
what we
on?
doing?
What's up? She's like, no, like what we talked about. Oh, okay. You want? Let's talk. And we talked, and it's been all downhill from there.
Were you all still hanging out like you
I
were
was
during that
thinking that,
year
like,
of no?
No, I definitely.
You
Yeah,
kind of pulled
that would've
back.
been-
Oh, for sure.
Facts.
Oh, what?
I would have been like, who?
You don't want to
who
be
are
with
you?
me?
Right, right.
What? We're not going to the movies no more.
Petty.
I am in my room watching Scandal. Leave me alone.
Get your own gringos.
100%.
Worked out, though.
But no, there was definitely a time of like a setback, separation, because I was legitimately like, this is who I think that I should be with. This is who I want, in a sense, and I'm not looking for or checking for anybody else. And I'm not trying to even entertain or begin something like that. So you saying no, cool. Give me a minute to recover. Once I'm in a better space, we can, pick back up where we left off, in a sense. And we did, which was cool. And then, I asked her again.
So which was harder, or which was more scary? Asking the first time or asking the second time?
Right.
The first for shy. The first, because there were so many different individuals who swore up and down that we had done something. With like, y'all have had to have dated at some. Y'all are too close to not have done anything. And I was like, no, like we haven't slept in the same bed. We haven't spent the night at anybody's house. Like, I've been to her dorm room. She's been to my apartment, but it's never been anything like that while we were in college. Even in high school, people were like, y'all had to have dated. No, she was actually dating one of my homeboys who was on the football team. And yeah, but no, it was never anything like that. But people just didn't believe it. And then as soon as we became official, it was like, we knew it. Y'all was like,
No, y'all actually don't.
y'all don't. Like, this is our first official date. Like,
As an item.
And it was at Gringos. So
Wow.
had to bring that back. But no, the first time was definitely scarier. I journaled a lot at that time of my life. I still write from time to time, but I journaled a lot. And I'm not lying. Like I was, how I'm going to do it. I don't know if I should. Is this going to change stuff? She says no. Like, how am I? Like, oh, my goodness. I was so fearful.
Wow. Yeah. So I know we've been sitting in this group for a bit, but you highlighted actually a really good tool for probably working through some fears. You said journaling. Who introduced you to journaling, and how how has it affected your, I guess, your walk in general? Like, what? Talk about it.
So my mom introduced me to journaling because, and I don't want to overstate this, but she journaled from high school up until her passing, and I have all those journals.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Reading about your teenage mom is wild, but it's but no, having that information, I tell a lot of parents, new parents, even seasoned parents, like it's so different to see this version or this side of my mother, being able to go through all of it, the good, bad, and different whatever, but it gives me some insight to a different side of her that I wasn't able to see as a son. And I think that as parents, we always want to, portray a certain something to our kids, whether it is, I'm always going to do things right, or I have your best interest at heart. But there's the weaker side of us, the shortcomings that we may have that we don't discuss, and they can be highlighted in that space. So I've always, especially once I was able to, collect all those things of hers, I would always tell people, like, if you do journal, if you don't journal, you should start when you have kids for sure. Like, and then once you have children, like, allow them to see this side of you. I was able to see some of my dad's journals as well. And it was interesting because a lot of the areas where we had so much friction, I realized in my adult life that it was because of the similarities that he had, and he didn't want me to necessarily have those same shortcomings, which, as a father, you definitely understand.
Right.
But not having those conversations definitely changed and negatively impacted our relationship, because if we had those discussions, we'd probably been best friends, because that's how I was with my mom. So
Because I feel like you got language through their diaries, and it also humanized them, if that's even a word.
it is, and it gave a
absolutely.
different context to whatever plight they were dealing with at that time that I may not have been privy to. So yeah, journaling, I'm an advocate for sure.
So, can I ask a question about the journaling? How would you? I know there's different ways to do it, whether it's prompting or what have you. Just kind of curious if someone who's maintained, like, sustain it, because I feel like we all kind of like try to venture in that space, and for some of us it's easier, or there's different ways to do something like that. My question essentially is, do you do it every day, or just kind of like how do you navigate that?
And even when, because I don't do it as consistently as I did, but when I did do it consistently, I started with a recap. Like, since my last journal entry, this is what has taken place. And then typically after that recap, I have a specific something that is just either on my heart or that I'm given after I've done the recap. Like, oh, wow, I did do these things, or wow, that was a huge feat that I was able to overcome. How did I do it? Well, this is how. And the crazy thing is being able to have that as like a manuscript and go back and look at it. Like, I have journals from like 2006. Dialogue is horrible. But you're able to go back in time in a sense and see, like, okay, I remember exactly where I was mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually in that stage of my life. And I probably wouldn't have been able to recall that as easily if I hadn't had that thing to trigger it. So start by recapping and then go from there. I think the prompted journals are great because it allows you to get questioned by an external source, and then you get to kind of go into like a deep dive if you want. But the recaps definitely worked for me for sure.
Thank you.
Wow.
I had an idea. I think someone was talking, and how many of y'all are music people? Well, I know Devin is. I know
Yeah.
all four of us are music people, and so you all were talking, and I was just downloading just different songs about fear. I think that would be a great tool to help someone who is struggling with fear. Because, they say repetition is important for it to really get to you and stick to your bones, for lack of better words. But I'm just thinking, what's that song? Fear is not my future. Yeah. It's a CCM song. I'm not as versed with CCM, but
Contemporary Christian music.
Contemporary Christian, right. Hello Fear. That album, the Hello Fear album, man, I play it to this day. So I'm thinking having a playlist of like reminding you who you are in God will be a great thing for anybody watching. I mean, just message me and I'll create a playlist for you. Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Code Yellow.
A Code Yellow
Playlist.
That's fire.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
But you gotta have Apple Music. Sorry, Android people. I'm sorry.
Spotify.
Yes, there's Spotify.
I mean, Spotify is hosting our
These
podcast.
playlists can live in more than one place as to not exclude anyone
Okay,
from
sorry.
the enjoyment
My
of
bad. I'm
music.
sorry. I love y'all.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I will task or own. They say that at my job. What do you want to own? So I'm gonna own.
I can't stand that.
Yeah.
No, I can't stand that.
Podcast.
I want to own my
playlist.
check at the end
Yeah,
of
how
the
about that?
Yeah, that part.
I
Yeah.
want all my hours. How about that?
Right.
Yeah.
You get one.
I want my PTO.
Right.
As a matter of fact, increase that. Oh my goodness. Honestly, I don't think this conversation's over, but this episode is. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Adonis.
For- Oh my gosh! Like he's been we've been talking nonstop for like the past how long? But anyway, stay fearless, and as always, heal responsibly. See you next
Peace.
time.